Greetings, beings. Reverend Jacob Martinez here, Crystal Haiku Guy from ArtLove.me. Welcome back for your February readings. Happy birthday to all fellow Aquarians. 40th birthday this Friday. Woo! Sun's in the house. Feeling good. And also, happy early Valentine's to all who celebrate that. I hope that this is a wonderful time in your love lives. And if it isn't, hopefully we've got some messages to uncover some clarity for you. I've actually been getting some great responses on my down and dirty personals and would like to invite you to take a look at my services page and my testimonials page at artoflove.me. Let me know if I can do a Zoom for you for either that or a Zoom into the next year of your life with a future forward reading, guaranteed literally to put a smile on your face and help remove some of the things that have been obfuscating your path by blocking your mind as to what the situation is before you now. I would recommend that you also take a look at your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. Here, you're just looking for the free readings. The front end of all of these messages tends to be a little bit full of channeled messages and sometimes specific stories that are given to me by spirit. I do interpret energies that are given to me. I'm an intuitive, and so the way that I see and experience the energies are the things that I'm going to share with you here. I can't postulate in specific for each and every person here in detail since this is a general reading. If you would like for me to take that Zoom direct for you, though, like I said, you can send an inquiry to me directly, prayer@fatheroftribes.com, or click services at the top of artoflove.me to learn how I do my readings. I've broken down all of the messages into 4 videos as a part of the Tarot by Tribe series, one for each of the tribal elements, broken down by tribes or signs. My guides talk to me in a very tribal sort of manner, and that's how I actually speak about the signs here. So know that those terms are interchangeable. If you don't like to see the channeled messages at the beginning, feel free to jump ahead by going into the description box under each of the videos, click on Show More, and you can just click on whichever one of the chapters pertains to the sign of interest to you. I am not the person that's going to tell you what your gender is. I'm pretty sure you are aware of your own gender and the gender of the people around you. And I'm also not going to be ridiculous in assuming that it has anything to do with how your attractions may or may not unfold. So please feel free to swap out the genders that make most sense if the stories actually even pertain to you. And I'm also going to take for granted that you are 18 plus, since this is a mature audiences only channel. Please tune out if you're not considered a legal adult where you are. And also if you're somebody that doesn't like strong messages and language, because it's going to come up with me. So please know that in advance, and also use your own discernment. Sometimes the message might not resonate for you. This is going to be a couple weeks in advance. I'm recording these on the 30th of January. They're good through the first part of February or thereabouts. And some things might not resonate right now. And it's also possible that come a little bit later in the month, they might. So my recommendation is just do your own soul due diligence on yourself. See what feels into your space here. You might get a sensation in your body if it's for you or not, or just know right away. And if it isn't, feel free to discard it or just pop it in the back of your mind and pull it out if it makes sense later at some point in time. So I'm going to break these down using 5 different decks. I use the Carolyn Mace archetype cards for the challenge style energy. I'm going to use the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck for the mental sector. For the physical material realm, we look with the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, and then we use 2 of Doreen Virtue's decks to seal them up. One for the personal / sometimes romance sector. That's going to be the Romance Angels deck. And for the finale, I like to seal them all up with a prayer and a little practical advice from Archangel Michael using the Archangel Michael deck. So that's what I got for you, and I hope that you enjoy the readings. And if so, thumbs up, share it with a friend, subscribe. All very much appreciated. We'll catch you on the inside of your reading. What's up, Air Tribes? How you doing? It's February. So I feel good. It's starting to get a little warmer here, at least for now, and I'm really enjoying the sun being back in my house. Aquarius here, so happy birthday to all y'all that are strong in Aquarius somewhere. There were some messages that were just coming up here while I was clearing the space. Actually, it was really cool, and I'm very honored to be reading for some of you right now. I just need to say this. This came out while I was just clearing my decks here. In the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, this 12 that says Sacrifice is the Hanged Man, and the way they were showing it to me wasn't like an unwilling sacrifice. It was actually being shown like an act of heroism. And I was hearing a song that some of you might know by Peter Gabriel called In Your Eyes, and they were giving it to me from some different angles. For some people, this has very much got a romantic connotation to it. In other cases, though, and this is the part I want to talk about first, I was seeing this as those of you who have come in service to others and who have chosen to rise to the challenge that is before you when looking at the world and experiencing the stuff that comes up that is very much in some of your psychic space. And I'm being told some very powerful messages, and I'm seeing some images of many of you showing up in life in a way that deserves very much self-respect. And this card actually came out, and before we go any further, I just want to pray for everybody here and thank you for being here, especially those of you who have come in service of the light in dark times, and for those of you that have chosen to take an active stance in this world at this time against anything that is abusive towards humanity and the beings that are here in this planet that we share together. So thank you for that. And I certainly am one that believes in an end to human abuse and the abuse of others. So thank you to those of you who have shown up like that, because I'm hearing stories for many of you that have shown up like that angel for others, even when you haven't had somebody showing up like that for you yourself, that you've learned to embody that, and God bless you. Dear God and angels, thank you for helping me see myself as you see me through the eyes of love. I thank you for honoring and respecting me. Please guide me to do the same for myself and grant me the courage to speak up on my own behalf. I ask you for your protection in all of my relationships so that I'm surrounded by loving and kind people. In the name of the Most High. Amen. So for others, the messages were maybe a little scattered. I'm going to go ahead and just start shuffling the text. And if you're new to my channel, you don't have to watch all this if you don't like it. These messages may or may not be for you. If you just want to see the cards, jump under the video and click on your chapter. Not sure how long it's going to go. I shuffle 5 decks here. I try not to edit anything out because sometimes people like to see what the heck is going on, and also know that I'm not a fake, a fraud, or a phony, because not everybody does the work, let's be honest. So what I was hearing about for some people was actually, I was still getting that same song, In Your Eyes, and it came in different contexts. In a romantic context, it was actually showing up a little bit like an addict. And for some people, it's just a wonderful thing. You know, it's coming in contact with, you know, somebody that's worth being addicted to, you know, in your life, because it's something that's reciprocal and that actually helps build mutual self-respect and gain in life. And so I'm hearing about very intense relationships. In other cases, it took on a little bit of a dark connotation, and I was seeing some kind of warning flashes about jealous people. And it was sort of bizarre how, I don't know how that came out, but the Warrior card wanted to stay out. I'm being told that's a lot of y'all right now, getting ready to take a stab at life. So I'm just going to read these real quick, and then I'll get back on that channel message here. Light attributes: strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice, and conquering the ego. Good. shadow attributes, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted onto others. And that's kind of what I'm hearing that a lot of you guys are doing, is like taking a freaking posture in your life, because many have shown up like that shadow that, let's be honest, sounds like pretty douchey characteristics. So I'm hearing that, you know, the political fiascos worldwide have incited an insurrection within many at the heart level that has helped them ascend to the challenge within themselves, and that they are starting to witness the divinity in their own eyes, which was the kind of awesome message that I was getting from that Peter Gabriel song. I was actually seeing some people like looking at their own eyes in the mirror and being very self-aware of what it is that they've allowed themselves to embody on a physical level and in the world, and that projection that they're holding out to others, to see where the discrepancies are. Because not everybody's willing to do that, and I was getting a very strong message that many of you have. And so for those of y'all, let me just give you a freaking high 10 and say you're freaking awesome, and I love you. And if I can pray for you, please hit me up, prayer@fatherofcharts.com. I'm already praying for you. For others, the cautionary note back on that, I was seeing something really addictive, and it was kind of hilarious, but only because I got the comedic version of it. So please be self-aware and use good discernment in your own life, as well as with others who may be showing up like this, because it may or may not be serious, but the way I saw it was kind of funny, and I just see that it could also borderline into something that's not funny at all. But if any of you all have seen the movie Saved, it's actually quite brilliant film. Michael Stipe, the lead singer of R.E.M., actually, he was the executive producer on it, and it's a fantastic film, especially for anybody that's got a little bit of a sense of humor about things like religion. So those of us who might have been brought up with shadow attributes of Christianity, let's say, being rammed down their throats as I was, might find it, you know, hilarious and somewhat absurd. But there's a part in the movie where one of the main characters, her name is Hilary Faye, goes freaking bananas, and she gets caught in a plot that she basically orchestrated because she had some jealousy with other people, let's call them peers. And the way they were showing this to me was interesting. It was somebody being very addicted to an outcome. And the way they were showing it to me was absolutely religious connotation. Well, could be, because it did take place in a church, but it was a romantic connotation, and I was literally seeing somebody showing up at somebody's wedding and like going kind of like apeshit crazy bananas, and like running into something, like crashing the car up on the grass and like going in all angry and like, stop, you know, I need to say my piece kind of thing. And it was really funny the way they showed it to me, and that's kind of how it happened in the movie too. But I was cracking up while I was seeing it internally, but the guides were kind of like, hey, Rev, that could actually be very serious for some people. And so I don't know if it's somebody, you know, going to crash a wedding or not, but the way that they were showing it to me was certainly, it was like that. It was somebody having kind of like beef or vendetta in a situation and just showing up at like a really, I'll say, selfish time to put up a plea, you know, when there had been time before to actually make such statements. And anyway, there were some cautionary notes with it, and was just being told that, you know, for some people it's very much like a reason to pay attention if somebody from the past shows up making all kinds of statements about, you know, why they did this or that or the other thing, because sometimes it's really hard to know what to do when somebody from the past that's had very strong hold on your heart, especially if it was like a karmic relationship that, you know, just didn't work out for one reason or another, and they come back and, you know, if things weren't resolved, it can be challenging to know what to do in that situation, especially if you have moved on, right? And so that can be demonstrated in a number of ways that might be very great for some, and in others just kind of like funny. So, you kind of want to like, feel into that if it's something for you. But I was just seeing cautionary notes about being careful for deceptive reasons why somebody might come forward like that. And the truth is that now with this Venus retrograde going on, I'm not going to get too much into that. I do some astrology, but I don't consider myself an astrologer per se. I'm much more of an intuitive, but I'm being reminded to bring up the fact that this Venus retrograde could bring any manner of base level driven situations forward with echoes of the past. And so take that however you want. But I'm being reminded of the words base level, and that some people are only being activated back into others' lives and orbits for the sake of demonstrating to the individual that is aware of themselves how much they have grown, who they are, and what it means to have self-respect and self-love. So maybe just keep that one in mind in case exes of different kinds show up. It doesn't have to be romantic or like, they had given me religious too. Like the word religious came out, and granted, I did see it in the church, but it was a romantic connotation, and it doesn't have to be that way for everybody. But just keep it in mind if it shows up, because I'm being told that some people are willing to basically show up like that shadow character warrior, like at the last minute, like, oh, I'm here for you, and it's really just self-motivated, and a lot of times because somebody feels badly about now what they perceive that they've lost in a situation. So there's that. That was very strong. And for others, it was just all about self-awareness and just recognizing you in your own eyes and how much you have grown, and that the soulmate that you were looking for started with that relationship that you built with yourself, and that self-respect that you carry forward is really something worthy of just being celebrated, whether or not there's another person there. And that's a really strong message that they were giving me, especially for anybody that might be a singleton during such a big month of expectation as the month of February for many with issues of the heart. And so, self-love is really what everything good comes from, is that ability to have that loving kindness towards the self. And so especially if you're in a situation right now where you're not with someone and you want to be, for whatever reasons, it's just a great time to look yourself in your own eyes and remember that, not to sound like cheesy as hell, but it is kind of cheesy, that being your own Valentine is actually what's probably going to open the door for a relationship that feels balanced and equal, whether or not it shows up on the day of magical surprises and expectations that have been foisted on us, known as Valentine's. So not trying to be unromantic, but for many people, you need to hear that, because it's really about you enjoying the space that you're in as much as possible. And I'm going to get a little existentialist with you too. The moment now is all we ever have. And I stole that from Erica Jong. It's a wonderful line, and it's definitely stuck with me. And I think that it's a good key thing to remember, because that's the kind of awareness of self that gets us through the things that many others aren't willing to touch in their own lives, and that have so grossly accumulated into a world that is disgusted with itself and fear-mongering against itself, when the emphasis and value should truly be on the love of the self and also demonstrated to others. And so that's how we find a way to heal ourselves within, and also in the spectrum of our lives with others, right? Because that can demonstrate itself in any way. And any time that we're in that loving space within ourselves, it just gives us grace. So I wish grace on all of you right now, and hope that your relationship with yourself, first and foremost, are being prized as number one, okay? That you're coming at yourself from a loving space, and just remembering that self-respect message that did come up, because I think it's relevant for all of us, okay? And definitely be wary if your past life people start coming to the surface, the exes, because I just have to say it because I just laid this deck down, and this is what was facing me. Past life relationships showing up, and I'm hearing karma says you've known each other before. So some of y'all know if that's the case, and you got something circling your orbit, and just be careful, because like the message of deception really came up strong, and just realizing, you know, why people are motivated to do different things in your life. And also to do an inventory of this, because perhaps you've shown up for yourself in different ways that nobody else ever did. And in some cases, some people that did show up for you that maybe you haven't given a chance to, because you haven't allowed yourself to be open to that expression while you were healing through something that was traumatic, might be showing up too. And so, you know, the flip side of that is that you might find that somebody that's like really been a friend to you and like just been there when you needed them, maybe when you weren't looking for anything, might also show up too in an interesting way. And it might be a good time to work on healing your heart and your throat chakra so that you can have open conversations that maybe aren't too scary, because sometimes it is when you've healed through something and found yourself with a really good friend that in some cases might have a lot of potential for being more, and that could show up now too. So that's for you. Take it if you want. Okay, so I have actually laid down all the cards now, and we are going to start with Aquarius because it's Aquarius season. So, for sake in Aquarius, happy birthday to you! Hope you're feeling great. And happy Valentine's Day to all y'all who celebrate the things with hearts. Love stuffs. Gonna flip your cards. Oh. Fascinating. So, straight out the gate, this card actually like showed up in the channel messages for all y'all air tribes. So, warrior, again in the house. And I'm hearing this is some of you rising to the call of duty in the world and in your own lives. I'm just going to read it again because some of y'all might have missed the channel messages, and I'm being told you probably want to scroll back and watch them. So, light attributes. Because the light and the shadow here are going to demonstrate themselves potentially as your challenge style energy. And so I'm just going to stop on that again here too before I read it. In case you're new to my channel, as I heard I might have some new Aquarians. Hey, I'm an Aquarius here too. I use these Carolyn Mace archetype cards to give you an idea of how your challenge might be for the first part of the month. Sometimes it's how you might be tempted to act, and also how others or situations might be unfolding around you. Situational clues for your own awareness. Light attributes state strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will, heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Shadow attributes state trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others. I'm hearing this is major wake-up call for some of y'all. I'm hearing that some of y'all realize that there were some situations that just didn't serve your own highest good, that were showing up in your physical material realm, in your life, and in some cases in your own body and in your own expectations of life and of yourself. And they just weren't sustainable, Aquarius. And I'm hearing that's why some of y'all are showing up like this warrior, because there was some, you know, shadow stuff that was showing up around you that made you look like this devil when you look at it upright. And that's why it's showing up in reverse here in the physical material realm for many of y'all. I'm hearing in some cases has something to do with friends. I'm going to jump to the personal / romance sector. Might be very romantic for some of y'all. And for others, I'm hearing, you know, this is just more of like what's zooming around the personal life here. It has something to do with how your friends have shown up for you. And in some cases, I'm being told this is all about how you became your own friend and stop letting people pull you which ways, especially when they came at you with expectations and stacking that might very much resemble devils in your life. And I'm hearing in some cases too, this also has to do with friends that helped you realize who your real friends were. I'm hearing in some cases you kicked somebody out, and well, it could actually be somebody with a strong Capricorn placement too, because the Devil card sometimes is indicative of people that have strong Capricorn influence in their own natal constitution. So I definitely think that friends could have something to do with it, because that's also what's kind of showing up on your mind here, Aquarius. Using the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, we've got the Three of Wands, as it's referred to in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. And here, it's depicted as the Partnerships and Alliances card. You literally see somebody offering a hand up to another person. And I think that that's a really strong pull on this, letting your friends help you. So you find yourself in a situation, too, I'm being led to tell you, where you feel like you're digging deep to get through something that might feel like a shackle or a devil, or in some cases some fucking bullshit, because I'm being told for some of you, this is like a bullshit character that might be showing up in your life, that might have had some kind of tethers on you. In some cases, this is psychological only, is what I'm being told, and that's not always the case, and this shows up in physical material, but I'm hearing what the guides are saying, and they want somebody to hear that there were psychological holds that were being inflicted on you by a shadow character, that now you have had the strength to extricate yourself from their world. And in some cases, you needed to know, or you might need to know, how to dig deep in this situation. And it's important for you to know that you have alliances and you have allies, you have people that will show up and help give you a hand up. And in some cases, you might just need to ask for help. I'm hearing you might not even need to, because there's a lot of love showing up here. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump to the end. I usually save this to the very end when I do the prayer. But we've got the Eternal card, a love card showing up. And they're just telling me right now that it's important for you to know that whether or not you have to ask, some of y'all just have backup that feels really good. And somebody that might show up strong and silently, like this in your world, that is just there. And maybe you just need to hear that, because it might be a friend, and I'm hearing in some cases it's a friend that you didn't realize you could have more with. That was actually coming up in the channel messages before, so definitely dial it back if this is hitting you up, because you're saying in some cases a friend is really, really key here, and somebody's ready to have your back, even if you don't ever have to ask for it, and they're literally like the wind beneath your wings is what I'm hearing. And in some cases, that's why this is showing up upside down in the physical material realm, because it's giving you what you needed to be able to turn your back on a situation that I'm hearing pretty much sucked for a lot of people. So happy freaking birthday. Getting over the demons. I'm hearing some of them just got flushed down the toilet. So way to go, Aquarius. Way to know how to cut yourself out of some situations with shadow characters, because that's much easier talked about than demonstrated, and some people just aren't willing to even clean up situations where the bonds have been strong. And I'm not going to dumb this down. This card can very well be like all kinds of addictions. Excuse me while I drink my tea. But I've seen this card show up for many different reasons. Since it is in the physical material realm, hey, this could be a lot of things. It doesn't have to be an addiction or an addictive personality or how that's affected itself in your world. This could very much be the way people have been coming towards you. I'm hearing you might actually have had, they're talking to me about a fire sign person that tried to come back as a false friend, and that was on your mind here, and that this is literally that person being cut out of your life. I heard angry fire sign. There were some weird messages coming up around this in the channeled section too. I'm really just going to recommend that you watch it if any of this is pinging you, because there was more messages that came up. But I'm actually seeing some people kind of taking a really close look. This isn't like a reckless warrior. This is somebody that's taken an assessment, that's finally ready to take a posture and just cut out the things that don't even matter in their life anymore. And I'm being told in some cases, it's just really, really good to make sure that you're feeling grounded when you do it. And I think that that's the case, because I'm hearing for some of y'all, this is actually you. That this is you having found your own seat of power, despite what may have seemed like insurmountable circumstances before. And that and this together, this is a good thing. So please do not be afraid by seeing the devil. Oh my God, it's the devil. No, it's the devil. Well, this devil showed up upside down here next to a freaking warrior. I'm here. This is like a point of self-awareness for some Aquarius people or Aquarius strong. It could be your sun, your moon, or your rising. They've just realized how good they've gotten at cutting out the bullshit in their own life, in their own world. So happy freaking birthday. It's a great time to do that. I'm also being told for some of y'all, all you need to be doing right now is writing down the things that you want to design in your life. And I'm seeing some of y'all just picking up a pen and like meditating in your high mind, your high level consciousness, and just writing down the things that you actually intend to embody this year with every step you take. Because some of y'all are just at that point where it's literally you found like the trigger to your badass, because it's like nothing can like keep you down anymore, and that all you need to do is kind of look around you and see how many things have begun to assemble around you in your world because of how you have delegated yourself forward. And that's why you have partnerships and alliances showing up on the mind, next to let your friends help you. And I'm hearing in some cases, like I said, don't even need to ask. Intend it with your will, write it down, and keep living your life, and keep being a badass. Because I'm hearing some of y'all are freaking light warriors. And the reason why is because you've been willing to clean up those loose ends in your own world. So I'm going to go ahead and jump open the Carolyn Mace Archetype cards book. We're going to see what it says on the warrior. Just open right up to that page. Some of y'all need to know this is you, Aquarius. I'm going to read it to you. We've got some keywords to keep in mind, along with a ton of bullet points and a tip. So I'm going to read it here. Warrior, soldier, crime fighter, Amazon, mercenary, gunslinger, samurai. First bullet point says, represents physical strength and the ability to protect and fight for your rights, linked to an invincibility, loyalty, and the passage from boyhood to manhood. Can also be female. Let's just say any gender. Some people don't designate themselves exclusively one way or the other. This is simply a book's description, so please choose whatever words work for you. Anybody can be a warrior, but the book says can also be female, as in the legendary Amazon tribe of warrior women, and has emerged once again through women who liberate and protect others who need representation. That's pretty key in today's world. I would say a lot of people have been incited to this because of the political situations that have been happening here that exacerbate the misogynistic tendencies that have been foisted on the recent generations with the media. And high five. I'm a feminist here. Mercenary and soldier of fortune are variations on the hired killer who sells his power with complete disregard for the cause. Gunslinger and samurai appeal to your fantasies of independence and self-defense, yet they also carry the historic weight of predatory evil. In their favorable aspect, they all warn you when you're in danger of aligning your might with an unjust or purely self-interested cause. The spiritual warrior, pioneered by Dan Millman, Chogyam Trungpa, and others, directs you to use the classic warrior virtues of heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice for conquering the ego and gaining control of the inner realm. And the last bullet point states, Shadow Warrior distorts or abandons ethical principles in the name of victory at any cost. So the tip that they want you to keep in mind here, Aquarius, is to look for a lifetime commitment to courageous battle whenever and wherever necessary. And I'm hearing that's what a lot of y'all did, and that's why this is showing up like this. So please see this with a lot of self-respect, especially if you have turned your back on things that were really hard to tear away from, Aquarius, because I'm hearing that's a lot of y'all just shutting the door on some bullshit right there. In other cases, like I said, it could be somebody that's got a lot of Capricorn in their chart, or just how people are coming at you. I was hearing about addictive people coming that might need to get cut off in delicate ways, and that was coming up in the intro here, and in some cases, you might need to call for some backup, or just know that you have some there. But it's a good thing to know, and I think some of y'all really do, because that might be why the partnerships and alliances is showing up on the mind. And again, I'm hearing angry fire sign. I normally wouldn't take this as that way. If I was this isn't a card reading lesson. I'm not just going to tell you this is what this card means. I'm actually seeing this in the context of some people's lives, and I'm being shown this as an angry fire sign that may have been a friend or a frenemy. And so they're kind of showing me like what the reversed attributes would be for the Three of Wands. In other cases, it's about things that are, if it has nothing to do with that are about to take root or a direction in your life, because the Wands element tends to be about passion and creativity and, just things that get you fired up and give you the get up and go in life. And so if it's on your mind, this is a really good indication. And the fact that it's 3 is telling you about it being fertile enough to start producing something, producing a yield. And in this case, looks like some camaraderie and assistance. So the other thing that I'm going to tell you too, before I even open up this book, I'm actually seeing somebody really wanting to fight for their love. I'm hearing about, in some cases, there was like a weird threesome situation that just got, turned over, is what I'm hearing about. And it might have something to do with some of these friends, or, relationships that happened with friends, and then in some cases, this is just taking that next step, and this is somebody really being very passionate about it. Other cases, I'm seeing some really hot, sexy time with somebody that's kind of worth having an addiction for, is how they're showing it to me, because these can be some really passionate stirs, especially, with the warrior here showing up ready to take a stab at something, and, possibly some assistance from the friend circle here, followed by eternal love. I'm hearing for some people, it's kind of on. It's just going to be like really passionate time, and I'm hearing that it's like everything but a negative addiction for some people. I'm hearing for some of y'all, you got really lucky, because I'm just going to say it. You should only be 18 plus if you're watching this, but this is somewhat of a horny card sometimes. This is an energy that can be very sexually expressive, and I'm seeing it in the context of a bunch of things that look like they're worth fighting for, and the way they're telling me is that it's like a relationship that's like all that, and it's like worth being addicted to, but it's like, it's not like a negative addiction, and that's why they're showing it to me upside down. And in other cases, I'm just hearing that there might be some situations occurring here that need to be diplomatically and delicately handled, because it might have to do with people in the periphery that in some cases had no business in your life whatsoever, and that it might be worth trying to stay in the spirit of cooperation and good faith with others, especially if there's some challenging things that might have previously come to light that are now correcting themselves. So you're going to know if it's worth fighting for or not there, Aquarius, but I'm just getting that message really strong for some people, and I'm just going to open up this book here. This is the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle Deck book that we use. Expand the definition on the 3 partnerships and alliances, which is AKA your 3 of Wands. Here's what the book says about it. The meaning of this card denotes that you're now starting to see the fruits of your labor take seed and blossom. There may still be a lot to do, but watch out for synchronicities which could bring opportunities to form connections or unexpected alliances that may create something new. This could assist you in gathering resources for future projects. With all partnerships, always remember that there has to be an even exchange of energy. If you give too much, whereas your partner gives too little, it will leave you feeling energetically drained and cause potential disharmony in the union. There must be overall balance within the alliance in order for it to work and blend together for optimum results. This card reminds you that success comes in many forms, even from the most unlikely sources. Have an open mind when listening to others. And I'm hearing that's exactly why this came up here too. You might have some people that are worth hearing,
And you might just need to know which ones to listen to and which ones to kind of turn away here, Aquarius. But in some cases, I'm really being told that, this is about like a friend coming forward for some people and making a really strong play to be together. And I'm hearing some people are going to like feel very compelled by it and have to make a judgment call. So take it if it's yours, but I'm hearing that's why it's on the mind. And there's also a strong indication of fire tribal elements. So this could be people that have heavy influence of Leo, Sag, or Aries in their constitution. So that's why that might be showing up here. Next, to let your friends help you. Which I'm also going to read to you from the book here. Aquarius. All right, let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. Romance angels are helping you via other people to the degree that you'll allow this assistance to occur. This card indicates that you need to be more willing to ask for guidance, especially within the context of your love life. For instance, discuss your feelings, hopes, and dreams. Then allow others to help you. Perhaps they'll offer support, give advice, or even know of a potential partner among their acquaintances. This card is a signal that you'd benefit from spending quality time with your friends. If you're currently in a relationship, you'll get renewed enthusiasm by having regular outings with good friends. If you're single, then spending time with these special people will get you out of the house and bring in fresh energy. Your friends may also introduce you to a wonderful romantic partner. Oh, I was just hearing somebody might be meeting a friend at a 12-step program. That's what they were talking about. And that's what this is. This is like somebody that has been showing up in a support group of some sort and having made friends there and just having a really good time with them. And in some cases, it may be being taken to the next level. That person. That's why that's on the mind. There's so many different ways this can play out, Aquarius, but I'm just hearing too, look, if you're like a single person and you just want to be single and, this eternal love here with the big angel and the snuggle time here isn't exactly what you want, or you're not seeing that within your friend circle, perhaps it's just a time to really embrace yourself like this. I really see this card a lot of times as a call to action. It's a tip from Archangel Michael about eternal love. And, eternal love always starts within. So especially if you're feeling like not getting what you want, and maybe this has been you and you're like learning to manage your own expectations of, what the holidays are like and that sort of thing. Just remember that loving yourself is always like a very good way to be self-supportive first and foremost. And that's also the best way to call in a mirror resonance of that same frequency in others. And I'm hearing in some cases, just get out, go have a good time, just hang out with your friends, and sometimes you might be surprised what actually comes fighting for you. All right, so I'm going to actually leave it on the practical advice and the tip about eternal love, Archangel Michael, and just say happy birthday to all y'all Aquarius. Here we go with the prayer. Dear Archangel Michael, help me perceive all of the love that surrounds me so that I can feel safe in receiving, expressing, and giving love. Amen. All right. I hope you liked it, Aquarius. I hope your year is amazing. Have the best year thus far. And if I can do a personal Zoom for you, hit me up at artoflove.me. Click services up at the top or at prayerfathertribes.com and be happy to answer your questions about how to get a reading and also to do private prayers. So take care. God bless. And we'll see you again in a couple of weeks. Clear up the space here a little bit. And we are going to jump into Gemini next. What's shaking, Gemini? How you doing? Happy February to you. Hope it's going to be a great month for you. And happy early Valentines. And flip your cards. All right. I'm hearing some of y'all learned quite a lot. And that some things that you didn't know could be possible might be happening right now. We've got the fulfillment of wishes, aka Nine of Cups, showing up on the mind for the first part of February. Gemini, that's awesome. That's like the wish granted card. Some cases I'm hearing it showed up in a weird ass way because some of y'all might have been holding on for a certain kind of relationship or had to go to a function or a situation that you didn't know you could handle, and that somehow it ends up okay, and that you might actually have some joy to come. And in other cases, they're just saying it might be a tough lesson. Because using the Carolyn-based archetype cards for the overall archetypal energy for the first part of the month here, Gemini, we've got the mentor card showing up. That's like your challenge style energy. And so if it's not how you're tempted to act, it might be how situations are kind of presenting themselves to you, or how people are kind of coming towards you, is like how this card depicts the archetype. I want to read it to you here. Light attributes state, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Shadow attributes state, inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. Interesting. Especially to be showing up next to what's ordinarily a really awesome card here. This is a card about stability and pursuits worthy of passionate endeavor that ground us in ways and make us feel good. Because look at those people. They're looking like they feel pretty victorious together. It's a very solid, rooted kind of energy. And it's one of your wands cards. So anytime these show up, kind of talks to us about the stuff that like stirs us to do things in life. It could be a lot of things for people. In some cases, this could be a marriage or a relationship or nuptials or an invitation to some sort of event. And it showed up like this in the reverse, in the physical material realm. So I'm hearing in some cases it might have to do with people that have strong fire in their constitution. It could very well be one of you. You might even have fire in your chart, but if you don't, this could be people that have a strong influence of Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius in their own constitution. And it's just interesting to see something that looks like a good party showing up next to the fulfillment of wishes. So I'm hearing for some of y'all, things might have happened in a bizarre way that was kind of like juicy and worth waiting for, and you might actually get a kick out of this and feel like, wow, I missed a bullet with that one, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing about somebody that learned a lot from a real shit relationship, or how it unwound. It might have been really great at first. It might have seemed like all that, but left you standing there alone, like holding on to your wishes yourself. I'm hearing in some cases it was so worth it, and that the experience that you might be seeing in the next couple of weeks, they're saying it will be around Valentine's Day for some of y'all. I'm hearing it might be freaking hilarious, and that you might just be like beside yourself, like, how do I not freaking laugh at this in front of everybody and look like I'm gloating? And for others, we're just hearing this is about the things that we want. They've shown up on our minds. Sometimes the idealizations of relationships and situations with others because of societal foistings, things that kind of get told to you and naturalized in your life as the way things are, that sometimes build false expectations, leaving people feeling like, the thing that they wanted, the happily ever after in some cases, just isn't there, even though they're in a very good position within themselves, having grown so much, and just kind of dealing with what I'm being told might be disappointments just because of the holiday. So I'm hearing in some cases that this is a real strong call to you, with this challenge of mentor, to kind of take yourself under your own wing and tutelage, especially if there isn't somebody else there that, is present the way you might want in a relationship way, and giving yourself a moment to kind of stand there in the light of everything that you have learned to embody, because that's been part of your process. I'm being told for some that this is really just about divine timing in your life and the things that are actually worth waiting for coming. And they actually want me to jump ahead to your prayer card and just give you the advice early, and then we're going to break the cards down a little bit more. But for some people, it's just a good time to leverage the love and support that you have from others around you. And in some cases, it's really calling on the higher powers that are with you. And Archangel Michael says right here, give him a shout. It says call on Archangel Michael to help you with the situation. So in some cases, I'm hearing that this is really about calling in like that wish list of traits that you wish to embody in yourself as the resonant match of the one that will come forward in the way that feels grounding. And that this might be an opportunity to mentor yourself on the things that maybe you didn't realize about your own needs. And so I'm hearing in some cases, this might be some Geminis dealing with the things that they didn't realize they might have had, certain just empty holes, I say, within themselves, like areas that felt like they weren't being loved or supported well enough for them to show up in their own world kind of upright in this stable, hey, I just feel very successful in my relationship with myself and others in the world around me kind of thing. So you might want to keep that one in mind there, because I'm hearing for some people that's going to be helpful. And for others, this is really just about the wisdom of knowing what to hold on to, because in some cases, you've actually created a design for the universe to kind of fill, and it's there. And in some cases, it's only showing up like this in the physical material realm because some things take a little while to materialize and coalesce, like in the material physical body and in the world around us. But that doesn't mean that you haven't called it in from other places like the heavens. And in some cases, it's all because of how you've been working on your own spiritual, I say spiritual because I think that word gets so bastardized. I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but I get really tired of people talking about it's spiritual this, spiritual that. Please. All I'm saying is that the thing that you do to speak to yourself on a high level, I call that spirituality, not things that people superimpose onto you. Your own mediumship, your own listening to your own high mind, and whatever assistant benevolent energies are with you that has lit up your world here, that's on your mind, has called in exactly what you want. And in some cases, this is about you being urged to acknowledge what's worth continued time investment and faith in your dreams, your fulfillment of wishes. I'm being told sometimes that's what's worth holding on to. Okay, now I'm going to slow it down a little bit. We're going to break down these cards one by one. We first start with the archetype here. Carolyn Mace Archetype Cards book. Let's see what it says here about the mentor, Gemini. We've got some keywords, 4 bullet points, and a tip to keep in mind for the first part of the month. Mentor, master, counselor, tutor, also see teacher. First bullet point states, based on the character in the Odyssey, to whom Odysseus entrusted the care of his house and the education of his own son. Second one says, trusted teacher and guide in many forms of art, business, and spiritual practice. The third one says, passes on wisdom and refines the student's character. The last one says, shadow mentor is more concerned with imposing control than imparting wisdom and doesn't allow the student to move onto the role of master. The tip they want you to keep in mind, you Gemini, is to ask yourself if you've shown a lifelong pattern of taking individual students under your wing and guiding many aspects of their lives. I'm hearing some of y'all would probably just do great with that too if you're not, because, you know, it's a good time to step into these roles where you have actually ascended your own knowledge because you're really that good. And that's why they're showing you on top of, I mean, this is a really weird thing to be standing on top, right? You've got this person who's got like this wealth of knowledge that they're holding in their arms, and it's like producing like all this light, and they're standing on this like fragile thing here, and there's like water flowing everywhere, and they're just saying that it's like what you have risen in is something that I'm hearing some of y'all can really monetize in different ways, whether or not it has to do with money. And in some cases, whatever you've been waiting for wants to happen because of how you're injecting yourself in these ways. That's where your mastery is. So work with yourself if you're not feeling empowered, and this is actually you showing up upside down, because there is a chance of that in some cases. Because this is the physical material realm. You don't necessarily have to have wands in your chart and have, you know, a strong fire element, but to show up like this if this is you. In other cases, it's a situational clue about how things might feel around you, situations around you. I was being told about somebody doing something crazy and showing up at somebody's wedding. You might want to check the channel messages, because I was getting an image of that right now, and I heard screech. And in other cases, you know, this is really just about maybe how people that do have strong fire in their chart are showing up in your lives. And I'm hearing for some people, it might just be a time where they're faced with the person they've been waiting for finally coming back, like a karmic relationship, and it being like, holy shit, I waited for you. And then just being like, oh, no, I didn't. Ooh, you know, like, ooh, I learned what you all about, and not wanting anything to do with it. I'm being told, for some of y'all, it's going to be worth waiting for some freaking troubles, because you might even be in a situation where it's like you're going to look at this situation entirely different, like in the self-respect way, where you realize, holy crap, I grew a lot, and I keep hearing about dodging the bullet, and it just being like, wow, I really saved myself like from major bullshit by not getting together with you and your calcified pineal gland, you know. And so I'm hearing this could show up in a lot of different ways here, this worth waiting for, but just keep it in your mind here, okay? I'm going to open up the John Holland Psychic Tarot Aqueduct book, and we're going to read about the 9 Fulfillment of Wishes card, aka your 9 of Cups. And you should know too, in this deck, Gemini, the 9 is the end of the suit. So this doesn't actually go to 10. This is actually, in some cases, the completion of the emotions based on whatever cycle you might have been going through. So here's what it says in the book. This card being one, if not the most positive of the minor arcana cards, represents emotional satisfaction and enjoyment. Your wishes are coming true. Are you ready? Happiness, success, good health, completion, and accomplishment of your dreams and goals are in the palm of your hand. This card acts as a reminder to hold on to the beneficial feelings from accepting and receiving what you've asked or strived for. Know that these will assist you in the future when you may need inspiration and positive energy. The time is right to heal those past memories that have been holding you hostage. Forgive others and yourself so that your wishes, desires, and goals have a clear, unobstructed path to your heart, soul, and life. It's weird. While I was reading that, I was reading, you have been holding yourself hostage. That's what the guides were like pushing out of my mouth while I was reading what was written here. But I'm hearing in some cases, this has been you holding yourself hostage. That's what they were just telling me here. And in some cases, you need to know this is actually you. And this is the situation. This is what the situation wants to give you. There are a lot of messages about coming into your own self-respect for the things that you know to be true about yourself. I'm hearing some of y'all need to just ground some of the lower chakras. And they're talking a lot about second and third chakra. I'm hearing a lot about sacral and solar plexus chakra, and coming into your own light and realizing that you are actually here standing tall in the light of your own self-awareness and knowledge, and all the things that you've worked for, you've learned to balance emotionally, and that you've been worth that effort. And I'm being told, too, for some of y'all, this is about making sure that your brain chemistry is very steady right now, because I'm hearing something about, they're talking to me about bipolar disorder again, or somebody saying that and like trying to boss you about it. And I'm just being told some of y'all should really talk to an herbalist, because that bipolar shit usually has more. I'm just going to tell you what I think. I think most of the people that I've seen actually ascend through this and like take greater control of their lives find out that the medication was helpful for some things, but what was actually even more helpful was extricating themselves from the lives and situations with others who were playing on that and gaslighting them, because some of y'all have been dealing with freaking narcissists in your life. And I'm being told that this might be representative of a narcissist that you just send freaking packing, because you're like, you know what? I've like figured out what I need to do to like fix my situation. In some cases, with herbal support and surrounding myself with what's tranquil and placid and things that are worth being around and people that show up for me in a loving way when I need it, instead of trying to rock my boat and telling me where I'm broken. This is some of y'all sending that person packing because you've learned more and you took care of yourself in a way that those ones that you had gone to for mentorship weren't really doing. Because I'm hearing some of y'all need to really hear about narcissistic abuse and asking for help in the situation. In some cases, this might be asking a good friend for help, or I'm hearing you might actually need other assistance. If you've got somebody abusing you, and I'm hearing about an abusive family right now. And then in some cases, that's what this is. And it's something tied to the house, and it's upside down for a freaking reason. Because somebody was toying, is what I'm hearing. And they were toying, I'm hearing, with somebody's head and their own expression of their own life. And I'm hearing in some cases you just need to know that. And, you know, to some degree, we can all be called narcissists. So I'm not just trying to point fingers and whatever, but I grew up with narcissistic abuse too. And so I'm pretty sensitive to this. And I will tell you something, when I finally realized how abused I had been in my own household by, you know, my Christian parents and, you know, all of that, it was a revelation for me about how much I always knew in my own psychic clarity and space, and how it was just being like traumatized on purpose by this back and forth of, you know, trying to get an exception or, you know, being accepted or acceptable in situations that had a tendency to make me feel completely ungrounded. I'm not trying to get too personal with you, but I'm just explaining to you how that affected me and how I've also seen this show up, only to find out that I wasn't bipolar at all. I was a person with emotions that could use herbal support to stabilize those emotions. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, you might be at that time too, I'm not telling you what to do, where you find a new way of addressing the situation that's more holistic and maybe feels a little bit more like a coming together in a safe way under a wing of protection that allows you to ascend your energy and be safe in your emotions, and that it might be worth that investment, and that it might be worth taking the time to make those adjustments. And so I'm hearing for some of y'all, you need to hear that this is all about you being worth waiting for and worthy of that investment, Gemini. I'm going to read to you what the Romance Angels Oracle cards say about that worth waiting for card here in this book. All right, here's what it says. Worth waiting for. Divine timing is at work in your love life. Your soulmate relationship requires patience, as there are many factors involved. Your soulmate's free will choices are beyond your or the angel's control, as is the readiness of both of you for true love. This card comes to you as a reminder that this relationship is worth waiting for. Divine timing is a universal law that is always in operation. It is the flow of everything. If we try to impose our human will and force things to happen, we become out of sync with nature and experience blockages. Similarly, if we fret, when will I meet my soulmate? We put worry energy into the universe. The romance angels have heard and answered your prayers for a soulmate, and they are working behind the scenes to bring this to you. Your role is to listen to and follow your intuition, even if it seems unrelated to your desire. Your intuition is like a guide dog leading you along the path of answered prayers. Follow your intuition and trust in the timing of the relationship. And I'm hearing starting with the relationship to yourself, Gemini. Because in some cases, this is like all about you embracing yourself, right? And like you feeling victorious with both sides of your own true nature. And that is actually you right there. And they're saying that, it's kind of like, learning to be safe in your own light and shadow attributes. And that's really what this is all about. That this is a clue for you to keep in mind, that is how you're going to ascend your energies, by being balanced in all that you are, because all of you actually deserves to be here and to be held and to be supported within yourself. So some cases might just be a good time to call on someone for prayer. Feel free to hit me up at prayer@fatheroftribes.com if I can say a personal prayer for you. And please do reach out to others for support if you need it at this time. I'm going to fill you up on that practical advice and the prayer from Archangel Michael here, Gemini, to ask Archangel Michael to help you with your situation. Dear Archangel Michael, I thank you for assisting me with my current situations in my life, and please help me be filled with faith and with peace at all times. Amen. All right, Gemini, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. I hope it made sense. If so, share with a friend. Thumbs up. Hit a brother up if you'd like a prayer or a personal. It's got a bunch of different things that I can do to help you look at your situation and scale it back. If you're tired of bumping your head into the wall, or you're just looking for another lens on what's going on, go to artoflove.me and hit services up at the top and testimonials. See what people say about working with me and a little bit about what I can do to help you clear up your own path if that's something you would like assistance with at this time. If I don't hear from you, take care. God bless. Have a beautiful, wonderful, romantic, if you want it, Valentine's Day, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks when I'm back. I'm going to clear up here a little bit, and we are going to wrap it all up with Libra. What's shaking, Libra? Happy February to you, and happy Valentine's to all those who celebrate it. Gonna flip your cards. All right. This seems like a really good time for some heart healing right now, Libra. Seeing a lot of green showing up and a lot of new start mojo. I'm being told, just to remind you, some of y'all, don't be afraid to take a swing. Just had to jump here. Physical material realm card using Rider-Waite's in the tarot deck for the first part of February. Libra, we got that Page of Swords, which in some cases could be some of y'all. This could be a person with strong air element, such as yourself, or somebody with Gemini or Aquarius, heavy in their constitution, if it's not a person in your life. But I was just hearing to start here and to tell some of y'all, your new start is here, baby. I'm hearing some of y'all been waiting for something for a while, and this might have been you just kind of getting ready. And in some cases, you're showing up a little bit like apprehensive, like, can I take a swing at this thing? And I'm hearing some of y'all need to know you can. This Fool energy showed up is your overall archetypal energy for the first half of the month here, Libra, using the Carolyn Mace archetype cards. And this thing sometimes is just like a great indication for me about taking that stab. And I'm seeing somebody just like cutting a freaking mask off is what I'm seeing. Somebody literally taking a swing and taking that mask off. And I'm hearing, Libra's tired of hiding. Here's what it says. Light attributes, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at the absurdity and hypocrisy of life. Shadow attributes state, using humor to wound rather than liberate. Denial of your emotional truth. I'm hearing for some of y'all, this is seriously just new time. I'm hearing that a lot of y'all have been doing heart healing, and if you haven't, this might be a great time to do it. Sometimes people feel like that crying, person there that's hiding behind the happy face, especially around holidays and times where expectations for love and relationships are just pulling extra hard on your heart. And I'm hearing this is a good time to free yourself on any of those negative emotions, because for some of y'all, you've just outgrown the situations. And, it says here, it's time to take control of your life. I'm hearing some of y'all just cut off a romantic partner in some cases, but in other cases, you just need to know that that's like a bullshit limitation if you've been feeling like, there's something there, and not to like doubt yourself so much, because that could be you doubting yourself when, I realize things might be new, because in some cases this is talking about new situations showing up in your world, and some of y'all I'm hearing being trigger shy about, showing what's behind that mask there. So you might want to keep it in mind, because this full energy, these archetype cards that I use here are kind of like, they're how you might be tempted to act if that's not how you're feeling. In some cases, it's a situational awareness clue about how things might be around you, if others may be taking on this tact. And I'm hearing in some cases it's false front, and it might only be because, people are thinking a lot about love right now. And I gotta say, I love this card, Libra. It's what's showing up on your mind. First half of the month, spiritual union, aka Two of Cups. That is probably one of my soulmate cards. I would say that's like maybe one of the best soulmate cards in this deck. And it looks beautiful. It looks like these two that have a meeting of the mind. They're sharing light over that fountain or that cup of their shared emotions. It's illuminating their world. It kind of makes them look like a big angel together. Which some people say that that's what, real soulmates and twin flames, do, that when they come together, they become like this big third entity that's really, truthfully, like an angel embodied. And that in some cases, that's showing up here because some of y'all just need to allow yourself to be free in that space, because you might have had something show up. And I'm hearing for some of y'all, it's like just time to drop the mask and, not be afraid of what's before you, right? In other cases, I'm just hearing that it might be an indication about why it's you're ready to take a new start from what it was that you left behind that might have been a union of some sort, and that this Fool is really just encouraging you to stand naked in your own truth about this, even if it is an emotional time. And some of y'all need to know, Libra, just jumping ahead here, that it's always a good time to pray. It doesn't have to be a religious thing, I'm not a religious person personally, but I do have a really strong connection with my own divine guidance and the heavenlies that surround me and the benevolence that show up to work with me. And I know that many of you do too. And in some cases, if you're liberating yourself from something, it's just a good time to leverage, the light that's around you, however you want to look at it. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Carolyn Mace Archetype deck book. We're going to get a little bit more information on this Fool card, because it is showing up as your challenge. I was seeing it as a really good thing, though. I kept hearing something about new beginnings, and I wouldn't always read these like this, but the Fool and the Free Yourself kind of show up to tell you that, some bullshit that wasn't working before, it's like time to let it go. And so sometimes that's why it's good to show up with the sword, right? And this might just be a little bit more helpful to expand the view on the Fool. So I'm going to read it to you out of the book here, Libra. We've got some keywords, 6 bullet points in the tip. Fool, court jester, clown, dumbling. First bullet point states, embodies ability to communicate profound messages through humor. Second bullet point states, represents what people would like to do or say themselves. The third one says, often wears a mask that covers one's real emotions. The fourth one that I certainly do not agree with says generally male. Please feel free to disregard that one here. We don't do gender bias dogma BS here on this channel. It can be anybody who embodies it. Fifth one says, drumming doesn't so much impart wisdom as kindness and simplicity. And the sixth one says, shadow, clown, or fool manifests as cruel, personal, mockery, or betrayal. The tip to keep in mind says, consider your use of humor in association with power, especially in a way that's fundamental to your personal protection and survival. And in some cases, I'm hearing that's exactly why this Page of Swords that ordinarily is, in some cases, a fresh start for a person with strong air elements such as yourself, showing up upside down. So I'm hearing, remember your truth here, Libra, and don't be afraid of things that you've outgrown limiting you in any way to where you feel like you can't take a stab at a new direction. Because I'm hearing in some cases, it's not all that new to you either. I mean, I know it's, okay, this could show up many different reasons, in the physical material realm. This could be about kids that you're dealing with. This could be about juvenile people. In some cases, shit-tastic communication. Sometimes that's why, a card of maybe an incoming message might show up in reverse like this. But in other cases, I'm really hearing, this is just a reminder to you that you're not foolish. You know what you're doing with your sword. You're a wonderful, excellent thinker and communicator of ideas, and sometimes this might just be showing up upside down for some of y'all because you're questioning the new direction and like whether or not you can get through. Look at this thing. I mean, that is a bullshit limitation if that's something that is consuming your mind and having you showing up in this position in your own life. Just saying. In other cases, this could be about people that maybe I'm hearing might not have wonderful things to say or think about you and this beautiful situation that's showing up in your world. I'm hearing in some cases you've actually called in a spiritual union or partnership that in some cases has had you apprehensive about that next step and whether or not you want to send that message and be free in that space. And in some cases, this is actually some people just being like freaking bratty. This can be one hell of a brat card, let me tell you. If you've ever seen a Page of Swords show up like this in your life, they might just be a fool. Okay? And so in some cases, just keep it in mind because what they're saying is remember your love and what's bringing you into this space because that's what's important. That's your own yoga with yourself and with other situations possible. Because I'm hearing in some cases this is about being free from some bullshit so that you can enjoy your relationship. And in some cases, you just might need some help praying some like little just nitwit out of your life that might want to be saying some catty things. Because sometimes people will come with brutal and reckless words because they're not in their truth and they're in a form of denial and they want sometimes something that they haven't really worked for or that they see another person enjoying. And so in some cases I'm just hearing for some of you partner Librans, there's just a cautionary note here to protect what's yours, protect the love in your heart, protect that loving person that's in your world. If you have somebody that's in your life that you're thinking of, whether or not they have air or water in their chart, because this could very well be somebody with a strong influence of Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio somewhere in their natal constitution, if it's not, you just feeling that. And in some cases, you might just want to protect that loving space that might be attached to something that resembles this beautiful image here, okay? And that's what it says there. It says it's time to take back control of your life. So just keep it in mind. I think some of you are. Let's see what the John Hall Psychic Tarot Oracle deck book says about the Spiritual Union card. This too is also known as the Two of Cups, if you were referencing a more standard deck like your Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck. Here's what the book says about it. This card deals with relationships involving an emotional bond. It could be between new lovers, kindred souls, family members, friends, business associates, or partners. It could even relate to a project or specific situation. This would be the perfect time to realize that all relationships are really about you. Notice when you interact with different people in your life. Are they giving you energy or taking it away? Is there an even exchange? There should be an equal balance between giving and receiving energy. Relationships are mirror images of your own life. They reflect how you feel and treat yourself, and how you react and respond to various situations and individuals around you. Each and every union is an opportunity for soul growth. And I'm hearing in some cases, this is just like cutting some people out that haven't had a good give and take with you, that maybe have deprecated you in some way. I'm hearing using humor to wound rather than liberate. You know, people that maybe have come kind of nagging on you and giving you negativity about anything about yourself. And in some cases, it's just time to let it go. And I'm hearing that this might be about self-love for some of y'all, and just maybe you taking this posture and just being like, you know, because sometimes this person can be, you know, a little new about how they do things and maybe a little trepidatious about how they're moving things forward. In some cases, when they show up like this, they're kind of pissed right off, and they're just like, you know, they just let somebody have it. And they might go off kind of half-cocked. And so I'm hearing this might be some of y'all just like defending your turf is what I'm hearing, because it's something that matters to you. And so I'm just being reminded to mention to, you know, temper yourself if you can here. Prayer will always help the situation. Just cool your jets if you need to. If you find yourself feeling like you're upside down in a situation where you really have a lot more control over it, and knowing that you're not a fool. Even if you're around a foolish person, you don't have to let them literally kind of like drag you to their level, is what I'm hearing. In some cases, all you need to do is just, you know, poof, be gone. And remember too, Libra, let me just tell you here, I know a lot of times you kind of want to like balance things, and you kind of want to like massage the situation and come to people and like make it right and like get them to understand your side, or, you know, the other side, or whatever it is. In some cases, especially if you're dealing with bratty people that don't want a resolution, is how I'm hearing from somebody's guides. Realize that sometimes you don't have to give any explanation. Sometimes the best way to honor that love within is to realize you're already free, and that this little noisemaker here, this little bratty little hootie who, whatever you want to call it, fill in your own blankety blank, that person sometimes doesn't even need a response from you. Sometimes that's the most loving thing to do for yourself in honoring what actually holds a place in your life. So I feel like some of y'all just need to know that right now, because they're telling me some of y'all just like not felt really good about situations and felt like you kind of have to like masquerade it, and it's almost like you haven't been able to say the right thing. And let me tell you something. I used to do sales for a living, and I was really good at it. And something that helped me free myself in my time, because it was a commission-based industry, okay, and I need to make money, and time is money and all that, was to realize that you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. And so sometimes it's like just knowing when to cut your loss. Realize that you're already free. I'm going to go ahead and read to you what the book says on Free Yourself here. Libra. The book says, it's time to take back control of your life. Like the unicorn in the image on this card, you may be feeling trapped. Perhaps you've relinquished control to someone else, or maybe you feel smothered in your career or relationship. As you tune into yourself, you'll sense the specific areas where this message applies to you. You can even ask yourself, In what ways do I feel limited or constrained? Trust the answers you receive. This card comes to you from the romance angels because they've heard your call for great love. To experience passion, though, you must first allow yourself to feel deep emotions. In doing so, you may come up against areas of your life where you harbor discontent. Simply by acknowledging these areas, you bring light to the situation and allow room for the angels to help you. Some of them want to. They're showing up here in your reading. As you commit to taking back control of your life, your feelings will naturally thaw and reawaken. This leads to a greater capacity to love yourself, your partner, and your experiences. Libra, I'm hearing for a lot of y'all, this is just knowing when it's time to take off that mask. I'm hearing some of y'all might have already just found yourself feeling more free and liberated in a loving way that kind of surprises you, and that you just need to keep in mind that it's okay to take off that mask sometimes and to, stand in the light of your truth and to be a beginner and to take those steps, baby steps. I'm here sometimes. Look, there's a great place to start right there. I'm going to leave it on this practical advice and the tip from Archangel Michael that prayer will help the situation, and just extend my offer to you to pray for you personally. If you would like that, I'm a guy that will be happy to pray for you. My prayers have actually been miraculously answered in many ways. Prayer at fatheroftribes.com. Here's your prayer, Libra. Dear God and Archangel Michael and anyone else that you'd like to pray to, I ask for your divine intervention in my life situations. I welcome your help, and I trust and follow your guidance with gratitude and grace. I need a miracle, and I ask that you send one to me and to my situations quickly. Thank you, and amen. All right, Libra, that's what I got for you. I hope you liked it. I hope it made sense to you. If so, share it with a friend. Thumbs it up. Subscribe. Hit me up if you'd like a personal zoom into your own life. There's many different things that I can do to help you get a clearer lens on what's happening in your world. Hit me up at artoflove.me. Click services up at the top and testimonials and see how I do my readings. And if you would like to ask any questions about anything further or have that prayer request answered, hit me up at prayer@fatheroftribes.com. I'd be happy to take a look at that for you. Take care, God bless, and happy Valentine's to you. See you again in a couple weeks when I'm back for another one.